Hello and welcome to A Collection of Spaces. My name is Peter, I'm a furniture designer and maker based in Peckham, South London, and this is a series where I visit the workspaces of creative practitioners to explore their ideas, processes and ways of thinking. This episode of A Collection of Spaces is with John Booth, ceramicist, designer and illustrator. I visited John at his Railway Art Studio in Haggerston, East London, a space he's shared for the past 9 years with 7 other artists working across ceramics and mixed media. The studio has the feel of a home workspace. Books, magazines and sketches are always within reach, feeding a constant loop of ideas. John's corner is a layered mix of practical workbenches, past projects, round bookshelves and plaster moulds, all sharing the signature pops of colour you'll recognise from his work. His practice spans objects like egg cups, mugs, through to fashion collections and large-scale murals for some of the world's biggest fashion labels, including Fendi and Paul Smith. We spoke about John's creative journey, moving from Cumbria to London to study fashion print design at Central St Martin's, working in-house for major fashion houses after graduating, and how a passing interest in ceramic gradually became the core medium. My main takeaway from the conversation was John's openness to learning and collaborating with others. This comes through clearly in his large-scale public installations, where ideas are presented to fabricators and brands through sketches and maquettes rather than polished 3D renders, keeping the work closely aligned to his process. It was a useful reminder for me, someone who believes that anything can be learnt alone, and while this may be true, working with other collaborators can often elevate the outcome. That balance is especially clear in his ongoing collaboration with Ian McIntyre under the name Supergroup. John's creative outlook is complemented by Ian's technical and fabrication insight, creating a strong equilibrium between bespoke studio pieces and factory-scale production, most recently seen in their collaborations for Hem and the Comran Shop. I hope you enjoyed this episode. It was really nice to sit down with John. We enjoyed some pastries and a nice coffee. So enjoy.
Yeah, so the studio is in Haggerston, and I've been in here for 9 years, so it's quite a long time. I came here originally to sort of do my ceramic work, but it transpires that even though it's a workshop, I can still totally do my paper and sort of non-ceramic based work here.
Yeah.
I keep my books and stuff in here, so it's kind of, proper studio, but definitely leaning more towards the ceramic studio.
Yeah. But you have like a desk space
Yep.
and like a library of books. It's not kind of a fully, like not a dirty workspace, but like messy workspace. It's kind of a bit of both.
Exactly, it's somewhere in between.
Yeah.
But it's hence why I was sweeping just before you got here, because I was like, I'm going to get some of this muck up. But it's nice. It's to be honest, I've taken some of my more fancy books. I've taken them home because it was maybe a teeny bit damp in here in the winter, so keep my eye on that. But it's really nice to be able to, in one day, be able to do some of your paper-based work, but then also have the ceramic stuff. But that kind of very much suits how I work.
Yeah.
Even if I didn't even plan to work like that, but it's just if I've got multiple projects on, and I think even just the way my brain works, I could go from a bit of, doing some collaging work or a design project, and then also have to do ceramic stuff. So that's the space lends itself really well for that. So these middle tables, I tend to work more in this middle space than I do in that bit. That's almost like my storage bit or drying stuff, and then I like it here because I like the light. Yeah. So in the summer, you get sun. I don't understand how this happens, but you seem to get sun twice a day, because it's at night it shines.
Oh, it just like reflects off.
Yeah. I don't know. It's really nice. You're here in it's January time. It's quite grey here. Yeah. But in the summer, it's amazing. We have those double doors open, and I really love it.
Yeah. Were these flats here when you came?
Were,
yeah. Okay. So they're not.
Yeah. So they're.
Yeah. You kind of wonder what was here before those.
I
guess like older building, like the ones back towards Shoreditch, like a bit more.
Yeah, because I think they might have been them in maybe 20 years old or maybe a bit less. But you're right, I can't imagine what was there before. Yeah. Because this is quite set back. The reason I like this studio as well is touchwood. I think it's safe in that it's not going to be turned into a Pret anytime soon or something like that. Watch this now.
Yeah.
It feels, because it's on its own muse.
Yeah.
I really like it here.
Yeah.
I was speaking about it just before. Yeah, I think I just didn't realise. I think I've liked it here so much that I didn't really realise how long I've been here. Yeah. And it's almost like this weird denial of your day-to-day life where you're like, oh, you don't keep tabs on it that much. And in a way, in the past 9 years, I've moved around so many different places in London, but this has been the one place that I come back to. Maybe that keeps it fresh, because I've never gotten in this routine of just coming from the same place all the time.
Yeah. And there's 8 of you sharing this space.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a big railway arch, but it doesn't feel like you were kind of saying about being a bit damp. It doesn't feel like cold and damp in that way.
Yeah, true. I think the kilns help with that. It's actually quite good. Yeah, you're right. It's not too grim. It used to be clad. You see that metal?
Yep.
And when they took that off, it was a lot better because I think the metal almost
breathing.
made it. Yeah, precisely. I think the brick. I like the brick, and they painted it white. I was like, it looks nice. It softened it a bit. Yeah. I do think it helped with the damp, getting rid of that. Because I think there was quite a lot of damp underneath that.
Yeah.
And it actually seemed to take almost 2 years to almost dry out. So it was a bit, I don't know. But you get used to it. It can be it's chilly, but then, I don't know, that's the price you pay for having a ground floor. It's really handy for ground floor stuff. Even physicality, like, if we've got a new kiln, you can get the kiln in easily and floor and stuff like that. But it's good. I'm always surprised when I have external clients or people come and see it. They're always like, "Oh, it's nice here."
Yeah.
So I guess I take it for granted that it's. If you've been somewhere a long time, you take it for granted, don't you? But actually, I forget that it is actually a really nice space.
And also in London, to have a space this big is, I know it's shared, but it's like you were saying, some people come in, like you come in more like every day, and other people just come in on weekends. There's a bit of movement. You're not stuck in a little plasterboard walled studio.
You're totally right. You're right. And I'd almost rather it just be, you sort of embrace the seasons here. Like when it's colder, you just wear more clothes. And I also quite like it's not artificially heated, because sometimes it's such a first world problem, but it's not nice to be near those like fake air heaters all the time. I think they're not that good for you.
Yeah, I have that in my studio, like an air conditioner, and then just even like yesterday, forget it's on, then walk back in, and you're like, it's about 30 degrees.
Yeah, it's a very like instant
just
heat.
Dry,
It's a funny heat, isn't it? But I think I almost get used to it. But then when it starts getting warmer weather, it is amazing.
Yeah.
It's like you've earned that warmer weather moment.
Yeah.
Just from being the cold winter.
And did you have any other studios prior to this?
This is my first studio. So I used to work in my bedroom.
Yeah.
So 10 years ago, I was still working in my bedroom. But I wasn't doing as much ceramics, but I did all my drawing work on my desk in my room. Yeah. So there'd be times when I'd be working for a big fashion house, and I'd be doing drawings in my bedroom in Hackney. So
there you go.
Not so glamorous, but it was it was quite comfortable that. But I can't imagine working from home now. But there was something, I think for my age, I quite liked being that self-contained. Yeah. I lived on Hackney Road, but then it just got to the point where I was like, I think I need to spread out a bit.
Yeah. Do you like having that separation between like your home and like a workspace?
Definite, yeah. Because now I live south. I'm happy I like coming up here. It feels even more separate. For a long time I was always like within walking distance from here, and that was nice. But I really also happy to be in a different part of London. Yeah. I think because if you're east, you end up staying here a lot. Like you socialise here, and I don't know, you don't leave. Whereas now that I'm south, my sort of the places to visit is more varied. So I go out, hang out in Deptford quite a lot, or Greenwich, or hang out south and still come east. And from here, it's easy to go central and all of that. Yeah. So no, I quite like the differentiation. Yeah. Nice. Quite good.
What was like your first experience of like a creative studio space? Like even like you think back to like your like granddad's shed or something like that. Like as a child, do you ever remember those kind of spaces being like inspiring?
I do actually remember, because my granddad was a wood turner, so he had a lathe, and we weren't allowed on it when we were really young. But I loved watching him. Yeah, and it was just mesmerising. But I think I just remember that's often people's first foray.
Yeah, like even the smell.
Shed, totally. Yeah, but also he was dead into gardening, so I think I even remember they had a really beautiful greenhouse, but the smell of tomato plants in the greenhouse was like very viscerally sort of memorable. It is. I think it's always that thing of like liking the look of tools or the way they're hung up, but not ever really knowing how to use them. And I think I still don't fully know how to use that. But I think this is my version of that. Whereas it's like having I don't use any heavy duty machinery. I don't use a lathe or anything. But I've sort of tried to cultivate that with this, but then I've softened it a bit. Because it's got touches of how I would have my domestic space in a way. So it's kind of bridging the gap between that.
Yeah, because this side feels like a bedroom studio, and then the other, just on the other side. Yeah. The one side is kind of bedroom desk space, and then the other side is your ceramic space.
Totally. Maybe I've recreated my old bedroom desk from Hackney Road. But yeah, it's not a million miles away. But even painting, it's very me to just want to paint, the back of that bookcase. I like that blue But I used to have my bedroom that colour before I moved south, and just little touch points like that are quite important to me because I like colour and pattern, and I essentially we make domestic objects here and stuff that, you know, kind of.
Yeah.
So actually, I want the studio to bridge the gap between that.
Yeah.
But yeah, actually, yeah, I was brought up. It was pretty like a sort of quite a creative family, actually. Mine.
Where did you grow up?
In Cumbria.
Okay.
South Cumbria. And then I moved to London when I was 20. So I've been here 21 years.
Yeah.
I came to study fashion. So my journey from studying fashion to doing this is sort of non-linear. But like this, I still see connections. Because I said to somebody the other day who is in fashion, I was like, I'm doing ceramics at the minute. And they're like, oh, that's fashionable. So there is, you know, ceramics are fashion related. I think lots of creative outcomes can be fashion related. I do really remember the workshops at uni as well. Like, so I did fashion print, so I was always in the print room. And the print room was just, again, a really ramshackle room, but it's just amazingly well lit. That was when St Martin's was on Charing Cross Road, so where Foyles is now. Yeah. But the print room was really iconic. Everybody loved that room in the whole building because it had the whole back wall of it was pretty much all windows. I know the windows lit up the print tables, and there was just multiple print tables consecutively right down the room, and that was in central London, just behind Soho, and that was a really amazing space, and you took it for granted because now the print studio at the New King's Cross building is nowhere near as nice. Yeah, but it was a really beautiful room.
I always walk past like where the Waitrose is and like look into all the workshops, and it's like I'd love like this workshop space. Yeah, like those kind of like. Think, oh, what would it be like to go back to university? I'm like, I just want that. Don't want to have to do a dissertation, just want to be in those workshops.
Exactly.
Using that stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, it's pretty nice. Like, yeah, you take it for granted at the time, because it's also nice being around your friends and actually studying. I think working together is quite nice, and that's why I do like it in here. I like sharing a workspace with people. I don't have the desire to work alone. Yeah. But I think, I do miss art school in that way.
Did you do any collaborations with other students, like when you were at art school, like together?
Yeah, not as much. We did do a group project once or twice, but I don't remember loving it. But it was more because we were put together in groups, but I think they purposely put us in quite clashing groups. Yeah. That was, I didn't love it. I think it's, you
do it once and then you're like, I don't want to work with this kind of person ever again.
Yeah. But it was funny, I made friends from it. I'm still friends with a few people that I did that project with. Yeah. They were really fun. But no, that's another luxury thing almost when you're at art school. It's very much your own vision, isn't it? And you never, I think since graduating, I've never quite had, it was so weird in the final year, you do your own collection and you sort of, it's only 6 outfits and you sort of orchestrate it all yourself. But I've never really had that full autonomy. I do have autonomy, but it's such a luxury to have that amount of time to do that work and it not have to be commercially viable or anything. Whereas when you graduate and get into the real world, it's like I've had to always, if I want to be paid, I've had to work for a company that'll then set me down a lot more guidelines or a lot more parameters. So I do think, I look back at that time really fondly doing my final collection at St Martin's because it was so entirely my own vision with very little, the only parameters were if I couldn't afford a fabric, then you could just find a cheap alternative. Or it was really creative.
Do you feel if you like had the 6 outfits here, you could show them to me and there would be like a linear line to like what you do now, like very similar?
Yeah, I think you'd see it, like totally. They're all yellow basically. I think it looks quite similar. Yeah. I wish I had a printout. I've got them online somewhere. I've got images, but I think it looks quite similar, which is something that makes me like, I like that, but it's also quite unnerving. You know, when you sometimes think, oh, has my work even moved on? And I'm like, I don't know. There's pros and cons. I think continuity is good. Yeah. Whereas I think if I was going to do a fashion collection out, it would look different to that, or hopefully it would be more elevated. But I think there's elements that I still totally stand by. Yeah. In fact, there's not. I mean, even seeing this, right? So I did a yellow jacket in my final collection that I painted 10 metres of cotton drill and then sent it to Macclesfield to be plasticized. So they coated it. You know, there's like Harrods shopping bags where it's like canvas that's got been. Yeah. So I sent it to this company, and when it came back, it was just amazing because it had all of these. I even used like fabric crayons that you could scribble onto fabric and printed down block colours and drew all over it. And then when it had been plasticized, I could cut it out into any shape without it fraying because it had been like, you know, laminated essentially. So I made a jacket that was covered in big sort of giant like oblong sort of cutouts that I'd done, sort of sequins. It's not. I don't know. I think if I showed you it, I think you could tell it was me.
Yeah. So I guess even at that time, you were like the plasticizing thing. I'm sure that's not something you could learn and do yourself.
Yeah,
it's like an industrialized process that you have to send someone else. But like to figure out that solution and then kind of not collaborate with them, but like doing that from like as a student, like even to like the work you do now on like much larger scale. Yeah, I guess you weren't afraid to do that in the beginning.
No, true. That's
so like
good.
rather than try to be like, okay, I can't do the plasticizing thing. I'm just gonna not do that and do something simpler.
You're right.
So that you have the confidence to kind of.
That's
do
an
those
interesting
things.
point. It's like you don't give yourself credit for stuff like that, but I actually. Because I think people around me would also see that I could be quite chaotic or not well organised, but I was organised enough to orchestrate that.
Yeah.
So you're right. Like there is times when you can. I'm not always. It's not always.
Surprise yourself.
Yeah. It's funny. Yeah, it's a nice outlook that I never really thought of it. But yeah, you do. But I think you do it for your own desire, don't you? Because it's like I'm not helping anybody else, but it's because I wanted to have this glossy painted fabric. But I'm really proud of that still. But you're right. I think that's where where I've gone more into applied art stuff is because I like problem solving, or I think quite like it's like interdisciplinary, isn't it? So it's thinking, right, how could I apply that same essence to a totally different thing? But I think fashion, I really loved it. I wouldn't change having studied that.
Why did you choose that?
Because it was more to do with the print element. So it was like I really got into screen printing on my art foundation, and I was like, right, how could I apply this that isn't fine art? Because I knew I didn't want to do it on paper, just because it felt, I don't know, it's like, what else? Then fabric, and then I really like clothing anyway, and then I was like, and then back then there wasn't many fashion print courses. I feel like the fashion print BA at St Martin's was one of the only ones. So I was like, I'm going to apply there. And I got on, which is a miracle. And then, so I was glad to. But I think even then, they taught it in quite a fine art way. It was very like not too precious or anything. It was you could be quite messy in there in the print room. And then I think, for example, just say we had a 3-week project and you had to make a garment at the end of it. I would probably spend 2.5 weeks printing the fabric and then go and put something together quite last minute. So I think the actual garments were quite simple with a focus on
the pattern,
pattern or texture.
Decoration.
And I think that probably is still, I still would have a focus more on surface and pattern. I don't know, I like form, but then that's where it comes up. No. Like the form is, I quite like simple shapes with something on them and colour and stuff. So it's kind of, I would fuss more over the surface than I would over the form. Yeah. But that's just that's my own personal, that's what I like with fashion. I would like a simple silhouette with a more sort of, worked fabric or whatever.
And what was like do you remember like your first big commission kind of after graduating? So I know you went to like work for like fashion houses, like in-house. Yeah, but do you remember like after like the kind of first thing that was like, oh, maybe I could stop doing those? Yeah. Or was there like a big transition period?
The transition feels a bit more blurry somehow because it was always usually led by finances. I didn't have that moment where I could be like, right, I'm going to stop this because I want to do this. It almost had to creep it in. Yeah. But I did something I was always really proud of. I did these little rubber key rings that were almost like a continuation of the jacket that I did on my BA. 2 years after leaving, I was making these little rubber out of latex sheets and cutting the rubber, little kind of decorative keyring things, and then Selfridges stocked them. So they saw them. I don't know how they saw them, one of the buyers. This was pre-social media. Or somebody I knew, I put them on my Facebook, and somebody was like, my boss really likes them. So that was funny. Imagine putting it on Facebook. It wasn't even a big commission, but I was like, at that age, I was like, I've got something in Selfridges, I'm really happy with that. So that felt nice.
Yeah, I mean, at that time you'd be like, I've made it. This is it. Yeah.
I didn't make any, in fact, I probably made a loss from it. I didn't make, because it was so time consuming to make. Yeah. But I loved it. Yeah. And then I just thought, I think that showed me that you can, because at the time I was teaching a lot, and I think I also was working for money at this like fashion studio, but like cutting paper patterns. I wasn't designing, even though I had a design degree. I was literally doing, somebody would put a stack of paper patterns on the desk and you had to cut them out by the end of the day. Okay. So I loved that job because we just used to like have a laugh, and it was one of them jobs that you just did and just cut out all day and listen to the radio.
Slightly zone out,
Yeah, and I kind of loved it, and there was some funny characters there. But then I was like, right, so in my other time I was like making these things for Selfridges at the weekend, and then I was like, right, this can be, before knowing it, without knowing it, or without thinking about it too much, I was like, you can do multiple things at once, and I think that's how I still work. I think I almost expect to do multiple things at once, because it's, and if I haven't got multiple things on, I'm a bit like, oh well, this, I'm worried, or I'm like, oh well,
you don't like finish one thing and go to the next, and it's like, you're doing like this, like the paperwork, and then doing something ceramic. I guess maybe with ceramics, there's quite a lot of time between things.
Yep,
totally. So it's like you're processing the clay, you're leaving it out to dry, then you can do like a very basic understanding of working with clay. Like there's time in between days and possibly even weeks before you kind of get the finished thing.
You're totally right. So I think that suits the way it could be. I don't know, the more you get to know yourself, multiple people around me have been like, John, you've got ADHD. I'm not even going down that path for myself. I don't want a diagnosis, but I think I definitely do.
Yeah.
And it just maybe, well, at least that's one, it suits my way of thinking or approaching stuff, because then I can just skip from one thing to the other.
Yeah.
And I think I almost, in a sick way, sort of enjoy it. Where I'm like, because even this week what have I done? Yesterday I was teaching at St Martin's all day, so I was teaching drawing. But the day before, but I came in here in the morning to do some tiles before that, and then I've been working on tiles and then doing other stuff, and then a mixture of things.
Yeah.
But then that's, to me, is like a nice working week.
Yeah.
Like,
do you imagine if someone was watching you, they'd see it as like frantic?
Oh, they'd be like, lock him up. I probably would, but I think I can't imagine it any other way, because I think when I was a student, I used to work in a fabric company every summer. That was my summer job, and it was up in Kentish Town. And it was very much like Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. And I remember one day being like, I can't do this. Like, I didn't like going to the same place every day. And I was like, I don't want to do this. So I think if there's a way, you pay the price for it. If there was a way to kind of not be in the same place every day or do the same thing, I wanted to do it. Because I think it just felt I didn't want to, even if it could be a company that you'd love, but I just think, but after a while, you'd probably get fed up with it. That's why I think I'm almost in denial about being in here every day. Because I'm like, am I here every day? But I am. But then it's weird. It's like not, but it's not, you're doing it for yourself. You know, you're doing something for yourself, and then you know, it's different to working for somebody else in the same place every day.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think, I can't remember what the question was, but it's like, I think I learned pretty early on that there's multiple ways to have a creative career.
Yeah, a bit of teaching, bit of making, bit of like research, and kind of cycle through those things.
All of it.
Yeah. Have you always done the teaching since you graduated?
Pretty much, yeah, you know. Some years more than others, but I do less now than I ever have, but not always through choice. It's just because I was always a visiting lecturer.
Yeah.
Loads of colleges don't want visiting lecturers now. They want, because they can pay permanent members of staff less, which is a shame, because I really loved doing it.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit sad at the minute. I'm not doing loads, but it's nice to know that it's always there. But I would like more. But again, it's because then, the same happened. I was teaching at Chelsea School of Art, and they were like, would you want to apply for something more permanent? And I was like, not really, because I want to have the freedom to be in here.
Yeah.
Because I really like teaching, and I think it's very supplementary to what you do. And it's nice to be able to pass on some knowledge, or at least pretend to.
Yeah.
But at least just be realistic with them. Because I had a phone call with somebody the other day. She wasn't even my student, but one of the other tutors put her on to me, and she wanted just some advice about kind of what we're talking about now. And the day after, she was like, I've just processed what you said, and she was like, I really thank you for being so honest about it. Yeah. Because it's quite nice to be not sugarcoating what a creative career could look like, but with students, but it's quite nice to say, well, this is what you have to work quite hard, and you have to be quite resilient. You have to be, it's an ongoing thing. There's no stop point, is there? It's not like it's not like you can stop. If you want to keep doing that, you have to keep making furniture. I have to keep making stuff. There's no stop point.
It could have, that Selfridges commission could have been like the top, and you're like,
that's it.
I've done it now.
That's it. But then
you just kind of walk away from
and then fast forward 15 years, and I did windows. I did 4 windows for them. Yeah. And actually, we've got a thing in Selfridges now, and there's nice things. I think that's, again, why it's nice to speak about the past with people, is that you do remember stuff that you'd forgotten about. But I'd forgotten about those key rings. But that is a nice thing. But you forget about those early achievements or early sort of breakthroughs that are actually probably quite pivotal to you.
Like building blocks of different things.
And just stuff that you look back and you think, actually, I really liked that.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't a moneymaker, it's just, just the fact that something, you did a thing and it was good at the time and it's quite nice.
Yeah. Have you noticed in the time that you're teaching, like I guess like an ebb and flow in like different students and like their like inspirations and like the way they interact with like you over that time?
Yeah, definitely. It's been really cool to see some of my old students and what they're doing now.
Yeah.
Like super famous, or people that are, I don't know, but even maybe the quieter characters that have just steadily worked over the past 15 years and have got really good careers now, but not in a showy way.
Yeah.
It's just, cause that's one good thing with teaching. You see, on the other side of it, you see the mixture of characters in the room. There might be some really quiet people, and then there's also these really alpha people that are really loud, and then you see how they get success, but then you see how other people could have success and what that means.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting being an observer to that, because when you're a student yourself, you don't really see that. You just think, I don't know what you think, but I guess you see the loud people in your class and you think, oh, they're annoying.
Yeah.
But then I'm always a bit of a fan of the quieter ones that maybe shout the least, but then end up having very steady careers.
Yeah.
It's quite cool to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is interesting being on the other side of it, because I think especially since COVID, I do see it's almost a bit sad, like a lot of younger students, they sort of almost don't socialise as much, or they don't, and also the digital thing, because I'm feel so strongly about analogue ways of working. It's like they're attached to their tablets or phones, or it's quite hard to get them off that and get them drawing on paper. But some do, but it's just still the majority where they don't see the use in it.
Yeah, like the value. Yeah, on one of the podcasts I was listening to with you, you were just talking about like the library and like sketchbooks and things. And like a couple of weeks ago, I think I was thinking, oh, can you just go and like go to a library at like the RCA, or even at I went to like Camberwell Library.
Yeah.
And like, I thought, oh, maybe you wouldn't be able to go, but you can just book. Like anyone from the public can go and book.
Yeah, amazing.
So I was just like there. And it's funny because you were referencing, you can go back and look at like a copy of a magazine from 1965, and they basically like archive them all into hardback books.
Yeah.
And I remember doing that at uni, or like the art director's guide to photographers, and it was like they would submit a page of their best work from the year.
So
and you can
cool.
imagine like choosing that as like this is my portfolio for a year. But yeah, I really like, or like there's like Town and Country or Architect's Digest I was looking at the other day. And even the adverts are amazing. But yeah, just that resource, like as a student, is so good. And yeah, just I guess talking about it, I'm like, people should just go and use that space. Because I think you can just go to any of like the UAL libraries, you just have to book a day before.
That's amazing. Well, if you ever want, also Pete, I've got a staff card. If you ever want to use it, just come anytime and borrow it, because I'm only there a couple of times a year now. So you can borrow it anytime and just tap into the library. Also on the staff card, you get free photocopies. So I still go and sometimes I get a whole load of images together and I'll go and print them off at college for free, because it's just nice to have. I did it not that long ago. I thought I'm going to do this because it's.
Yeah, do you have any of your sketchbooks that is that what?
I mean, this was just images that I printed off recently of just like research stuff that I'd kept over the years, or stuff that from Instagram even. But I thought I need to practice what I preach, because I would say to students, print off your research images, don't have them just on your phone.
Yeah.
So it might be stuff that I've taken pictures of, or artist stuff that I like. But even having it in here is really useful, actually. So I've been looking at that. But it was quite tile related, or quite surface pattern related.
Yeah. I started like kind of recently, we were talking about before, just like thinking, rather than just going from job to job and not really looking at research, because sometimes I'm like, if I look at other people's stuff too much, then I'll just get too influenced by it.
Yeah.
And I remember that from like my photography days, like just consuming so much, and then you just get overwhelmed like looking at other people's work. But yeah, and so even just like on Instagram, like saving stuff like you've got here, and just like pinning it. And I printed some out the other day just in black and white. But something like this, I mean, it's basically just a book.
Basically.
And it's like great.
So useful.
Yeah. It's
I love it. But it's not even anything, is it? It's so simple, but it's like that. It's really useful to see.
Yeah, and even just like the images in like different formats and like different sizes, even though if these are all from Instagram, or they're all the same format on the screen.
True, yeah.
But actually the photos are like different formats when you download them.
Yeah.
It's just really nice to see.
It is, definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, trying to encourage students to use the library and use like those like hundreds of years of worth of like documents and books and things.
No, they don't do it as much. And I don't know. I can't say for
Yeah,
all
yeah.
students, but the ones that we speak to, because when I was at uni, it was literally cool to go to the library. Like, you'd go and hang out and just be like. But the library was amazing because it overlooked Greek Street. Because so the St Martin's, it was the depth of that block. If you were on Charing Cross Road and then the next street up was Greek Street, St Martin's was that full depth of that. So it was amazing. The library just looked, it was on ground level and it looked out onto Greek Street and Soho. And I was just like, this is a cool place.
Yeah.
And it was I still like looking at all those old, like, the bound copies of the magazines.
Yeah. Just the adverts are so good. Yeah.
Totally.
I really enjoyed doing that the other day.
Yeah.
So maybe we could talk about like the collaboration that yourself and like Ian do as like super group, and like when did that kind of start and how did that kind of come about?
I think we started in, because obviously we'd been in the studio for a few years together, and then I think because our work is so different, but could definitely recognise processes that I was like, oh, I'd love to do that, and vice versa. I think because then our work is so different that you're almost drawn to it because you think, well, that's my gap, there's a gap there.
Yeah.
And Ian's even said he really likes working on something that could be a lot softer or more playful or more decorative. And I'm like the opposite. I want something more formal or more engineered or so it felt quite complimentary. And it just kind of, I can't even think how I don't know what happened, but we did start doing something. I did a thing for matches where I did this bedroom for them. And there was a few objects that I think had maybe said to Ian, oh, could we work on that together? And we did. We did a ceramic side table there, which was really nice, but we made very few of them because that was really a lot of work. And we kept forgetting to redo an air hole in it. So I remember there was multiple times where you just hear this table that took weeks to make just exploding in the kiln.
Yeah.
But it's in a sick way, it was a really satisfying noise. It was quite an addictive noise. So we started doing that, and then an opportunity came up with Hem, the Swedish company, to do decorative objects, and that was in 2019.
Okay.
So which is crazy to think that's like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
So that is wild. Because then that was our first sort of public facing thing, I think, as Supergroup.
Yeah. Do you have any of those here?
The moulds are over there. So we did the rainbow, and the flower, and the cloud.
Okay.
So, but we don't have any of them. So we're lucky because we don't mass produce loads of objects, but anything we do make, we shift usually, apart from those giant snails. So if you want a giant snail one day, they might be coming your way. Give one to Beth. And I loved it. We called it because I think we work with somebody really amazing called Laura Housley that runs Modern Design Review, which is a magazine, but I don't think she's brought a magazine out for a while. But she's a consultant, like a design consultant. She was working for Hem at the time. She's based in London, and then so we were working closely with her. And we just did a range of these objects. We did 5 sets of. So you bought a rainbow and a cloud and a flower. So we did 5 of them. So it's not very many pieces, and I think we did a few extra pieces. But it's really nice to work on small runs. But it's not financially good. But
so you're producing all of those like in-house here, and then sending them, and then like Hem are selling them
exactly
in their not in their stores, but like
exactly that
through them.
So we did, so they paid for shipping and whatever, and that was fine. But we did a sort of like a mini exhibition of that in Milan at Design Week. So that was really nice. And then so I felt like things were really picking up, and then 2020 came, so we were really excited about that. About having shown stuff in Milan, and there was we started talking to other companies, and there was offers coming in, and then it just stopped, and then that was it. And then since then we've worked on little runs of things, and then we did another thing for Hem in 2022, which actually isn't that long between. So actually, I think we started working on that in 2021.
Okay.
So after the worst year, we started doing. That's when we designed Bronto, the tableware. Have you got any of that?
No, is that like the mugs and the plates and those kind of things? Yeah,
I think I'll have to get.
I saw it in Margaret Howe the other week because I was looking at the table and like the layout of it.
Yes, because that burgundy. That burgundy table was really nice. That the colours looked really nice in that burgundy. So we did. It's really weird with. I think you brought it up before with ceramic stuff. There's quite a long lead time on it, and I quite like that because I had to almost unlearn having to rush everything, because I'd studied fashion and worked at fashion companies. Everything is so tight the whole time, and you've got 3 months to design something good. But now it's really nice to really sort of consciously pull away from that and not. I think anything we've ever worked on has taken a year to a year and a half to even.
Yeah.
So the new collection for Conran shop, which has just launched, that was over a year and a half.
That's quite a lot of different pieces, isn't it?
It was. Some of them were repeats. So that flower was kind of based on the first flower we did for Hem.
Yeah.
It's smaller.
That's like this one
Exactly.
at the top,
Yeah. It's smaller, and it's got 2 leaves on the bottom because those ones are so wobbly. So we're happy to have re-engineered it, and we've repeated some of our shapes, but yeah, some newer shapes. The banana was meant to be for Conran, but we edited it out, and then we kept it and printed it bigger. So we've made it more of a. That's for an exhibition in Aram in March. You have to come to it. The premise for the show is it's all about moulds. So people that use moulds, which is a funny premise, but actually you can do cool stuff with a mould.
Yeah.
But that's how we started working really organically because we were in a shared space, and it's just that almost observing what other people are doing. That's why it's nice to share with others, isn't it? You look what people are doing and you think, oh, I like that, or I wonder, how do you do that?
Yeah.
And actually it's really nice. Plus we get along, mostly.
Yeah.
So it's really, it's good.
But you have quite different kind of strengths and weaknesses in that way.
Unbelievably so, yeah. But it's really nice to, like, as a human, to then you acknowledge it, don't you? Like, right, I can't do that. I can't do everything. It's nice to problem solve and do stuff, but you're not going to be good at everything.
Or maybe the other end of the scale, like, I can figure it out. Like, I can figure out all these things. It's good, but then in that way, like, it feels a bit more restrictive rather than someone that's, like, open to asking people for, like, help and, like, assistance and those kind of things, rather than thinking, oh, I'd really like to learn welding. Probably need to get a whole new workshop. Probably need to get, like, the welder and the mask and all those kind of things, and then you don't do it, rather than coming and meeting like someone. There's hundreds of people out there that can weld, and that you can come together with. It's just finding that, like, those connections with people. It's finding that connection that works in a creative way is tricky, but
it can be hard, because otherwise it's there's other stuff I've wanted to do, like, for instance, like, I'd love to do glass, but that just feels like I can't infiltrate that world, because all the people that I've done that I know that do glass are very reluctant to. I think it's a really arduous like process, isn't it? They're quite reluctant to be forthcoming with that. Whereas if it is down to potluck. If you meet somebody that is open to working with you, and if your values align and stuff like that, or you're open to it, then I think even just the physicality, the fact that we've shared a space really helps, because it's almost like it feels like less of a task to go and, like you're saying.
You're not coming together to do this thing. It's like, we're in this area, then this thing comes up, and it, like, comes together in that way.
It's nice, it's quite relaxed, that. And that's why, I think, because we've both got our separate practices, Supergroup feels so relaxed, because we're not relying on it to be, it's not like, right, we have to sell 20 rainbows to make our rent. Like, we can, it's been a really nice added, I guess it started as a side hustle, or as a, I don't know, and then it's become the thing that I really like, probably the most, or a really nice supplementary thing to what I do. Yeah. Because I like working with Ian. Yeah.
Because you're working like the scale of making a mug, or like the banana that you're making there, which is like tabletop size, up to like the murals and like the installation that you did.
Massive one last year was that.
Yeah, last year, where you could like walk inside it. Like, what, again, that like process of, I don't think you're the one that's like, right, I need to go out and buy 20 plywood sheets now, and I need to figure out how to use a jigsaw. Exactly. It's like you're able to translate from like drawings and sketches, I'm sure, like, and someone else can take that from you and kind of create it. But I guess do you find that easy, going from like small tabletop objects to huge like installations?
I do,
and just taking it in your stride in that way.
It was. I think it's quite nerve-wracking, but then that was a nice project, because then that was paid for. Like, the client had a good budget, so that having good budgets helps, because it softens the blow of. It's really nice when people can afford, if there's multiple voices on it and the right sort of voices, because I think left to me alone, I wouldn't have been able to suss that. But that was made by Whitewall, that fabrication company down in South East London, and they were amazing. But I personally loved it. The days when I got to go to Whitewall, I loved it, because it was super interesting seeing how they work. But they did all the heavy lifting. I started off with a very simple foam board model. From that, I took the foam board model, down to white walls, sat with the designer, and we formalised what these pieces were. From that, they made a scale model. They sent the scale model back to me. I painted it, and then I sent that back to them, and then they just replicated it bit by bit from a painted model. It was just unbelievable.
So you're working very in physical. It's not all in like fusion and like 3D. It's like
no, it was very model. It was like I could show you the original bits. They were really funny, but they actually turned out. The lad was really, again, it's like it takes a bit of confidence to turn up and like with a bit of a straight face and show people like this, like because that was the banana bench, but they made it so the final one just looked like that, even to the but bigger. But they did it so like true to
it's
how
like you had gone around with the jigsaw, like cutting it yourself.
They were amazing. That was the table. So like, but they just like formalised it all really beautifully, and I had that. I can set set some of it up. That was the guy. So it was just kind of like. But I think maybe a few years ago I might have been more nervous to turn up to somewhere and be like, oh, this is what I want to do. There's your sandwich. But then they were really nice and really like patient and kind people. They weren't like arseholes. Melon bench. But yeah, that just was, they just made that as is. It's just amazing. Well, that's the stem for that. So I loved that they kept it really true to this. That was the back of the... Oh yeah, that was it. It was like that. They kept it really...
Yeah, cause some of it was like a watchtower. Like it was meters high, wasn't it? Like
massive.
4 or 5 meters high.
Yeah, totally.
And you can like go up the stairs and like kind of have a view.
Oh, that was the thing. Yeah, that was the thing at... So this was the thing I did at City Point.
Okay.
But then I did that thing that you came to with Beth, was at Now
This was
Gallery.
more recently, this one.
Yeah, this
I think
was
I cycled past it,
Yeah, this was last year. But that chimney thing, that was working with Matt, the architect.
Yeah.
So that was also really good. But yeah, similar vibe in that we just... I guess he did quite a lot of the... Matt did do a lot of the technical drawings. I found this one more my cup of tea because I got to design it more. Whereas the chimneys with Matt,
a bit more of a collaboration.
Yeah. But I loved it. But this is literally turning up with that and then them formalising it was a delight.
And this is like public art, I guess, in that way, like a big installation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was cute. I guess kids were quite drawn to it, so there was quite a lot of kids on it, and that was fine. But yeah, it was really nice to work on that.
Is this one of like the biggest scale things?
That was definitely, and it got a good reception just from other clients. Yeah, they're really nice in their own right, aren't they? Just for drying clay. Yeah, so nice. Sometimes you have to lift it up and you see that because it sucks the moisture out. It's quite mouldy under there sometimes. So it's quite interesting. That was a big one definitely last year. I enjoyed it, but it's funny because then people are instantly like. If it's so impactful, people liked it. Yeah. And people were like curious about it. So it was nice.
And it's in like a public, it's not like in a gallery and like there's the walls of the gallery kind of keeping certain people out or whatever.
Yeah, I really loved that.
Like inviting, I guess.
Totally. And yeah, literally made to sit on because they were like, how can you make it inviting? And I was like, let's make it primarily seating. And then people were like, yeah, amazing. Yeah. Because it was, and then that was a little table and then it had the flower chairs around it. Yeah. So it is quite, I guess it is kind of twee where it's like basically a lunch area, but I was like, fuck it. And they wanted people to interact with it. So I think seating.
Nice.
I loved it. I really loved that. But it is quite, I can't say it was hard because I didn't do the heavy lifting, did I? I was in here painting a model and then that amazing company did the rest of it. Yeah. I oversaw it and I loved working with them. But equally, I think that was... Each year can be quite different. Like I would say it's quite the company that we're paying for it, because I think they had quite a big fabrication fee. Like, they expect a lot of you, or the multiple emails a day for no reason. I'm just like, ultimately I do like being here, just getting on with my work, as opposed to like being part of a big email thread. I'm like, this is too much. But that's the small price to pay for like somebody doing that. Yeah. But I think they think because they are paying that much that they have the right to you for months on end. And I guess they do, I think. But I think
there's like a boundary, and I guess at probably a point in the past you have been like refreshing the emails, like responding straight away, and like and then that is just a full-time job. But at some point you got to be like, this doesn't need my input or decision on it.
I get it. I think they buy your attention in a way. But I love it. But it's hard. Yeah, it's funny. Then once you've done it, you're like, it's amazing. But really excited about the stuff we're making here and the objects, and yeah, it's a funny one.
Yeah.
But
You've done like shop installations and things as well, like,
yeah, which I've
like
loved.
whole layouts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I loved that because I like retail stuff. I guess I think I'm almost more excited about retail, and like you just brought up about something not being in a typical gallery space. I think that's nice because then you want a broad range of people to experience something.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
I think is good, and that's why I think, and even I guess we're dealing in objects that we retail, even if they're handmade objects, we're essentially retailing them. What I'm quite interested in that we've done quite a lot more of is like working between sort of handmade objects and then stuff that's been factory reproduced, and
Yep.
I like having that spectrum.
Yeah,
of stuff.
how's that process kind of work? Do you make like a version here and then you take that to a fabricator?
Exactly that. Or technical drawings, and then Ian will make plaster prototypes, and then so we can see it, so the models, and then send the drawings off to the factories, and they'll make the model and the moulds from that.
Yeah.
So but that's been another thing with Supergroup, like watching that process. Because I knew nothing about it. I don't know if I still couldn't. I mean, I know a bit, but it's really interesting seeing something that you're still happy with that's been factory reproduced, and just sort of for me coming at it from the decorative point of view, thinking of solutions that still embody what we like about work, but aren't. It's very different to me hand painting an object for 2 days than them having to make hundreds of them in a few days.
Yeah.
And I quite like that. But then that's what differentiates. It's like you're leaning into the difference between something being factory made and almost bridging the gap more between the factory made stuff and the more handmade stuff.
Yeah.
So I think you can have two in tandem that price wise work as well.
Yeah.
So that's been really interesting. And that, I guess, yeah, that's satisfying to figure that out.
Yeah. Is there like a new, because we were talking about when you started learning about ceramics, is there like a new skill that you'd really like to learn, kind of like that?
Yeah.
Could be welding, could be something else.
Oh yeah, also nothing ceramic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Yeah, it would be metal work because I really
Yeah.
love. I was just looking at jewellery like courses the other day.
Okay.
So I'd love to do like silversmithing or
Yeah.
something because I love the idea of. It'd be nice to make yourself a small bit of jewellery, wouldn't it? I think I'm quite into that. So
Yeah.
maybe that would be my next thing. But yeah, materials. I still feel like I'm mastering ceramics. And
Yeah.
There's still so much with ceramics. I want to get more into doing terracotta. Usually I use white stoneware, and I've been staining it a lot. So a lot of the tiles I'll show you in a bit. I've stained the clay, so it almost is like Play-Doh, and then you mix it all together.
Okay.
It'd be really nice to work more with terracotta, I think.
Yeah. Why is that?
Just because also you fire it at a lower temperature, so it feels like it doesn't. Certain colours, if you go to stoneware temperature, it burns them out. And I
Okay.
really like some softer pinks and things.
Yeah.
But at a very high temperature, it just doesn't, it burns away.
Okay.
Or it goes grey.
It's like chemically it doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Whereas I think if you're firing at slightly lower temperature, it's less harsh on the colours. So I'm quite interested in that. We've done a bit of that already, but think of other. But again, that is my brain. Where sometimes I'll see an example of something that's like, I wish I could do that. I mean, to be honest, it would be cool to work with glass, but that feels quite out of my reach because it just feels. But I love looking at other people's glass. Like, I love Ivar Toika, the Finnish guy who did those amazing like coloured glass. He's got a thing called the pom pom vase.
Okay.
Beautiful coloured glass with two little like circles on it.
Yeah.
Beautiful object.
Nice.
I think sometimes maybe you have this as well, where you look at something and you love it so much, you think, I wish I knew how to do that. But sometimes can you just leave it and be like, I like that. I don't have to know how to make glass things.
Yeah.
But then
Possibly, but also, again, yeah, if you're not like too precious about it, you can go and speak to someone and like start that process.
Yep.
Rather than, what do I need to make
Yeah.
glass? I need to buy.
Yeah.
It's not a kiln, is it? But it's like you're like blown glass and like those kind of things.
You can use a kiln, yeah, because you can
Like
use
blacksmithing.
Yeah.
It's kind of that process, isn't
True.
it? You're like heating it up.
or slumping is so you melt glass in a kiln and slump it over shapes. So
I've seen people do it over like wood and stuff
exactly
like
that.
that. Yeah.
So that would be good. But essentially, I guess I did that with ceramics because I didn't know how to do it. But then I felt very drawn to it because it felt like there was a synergy between the way you could paint onto paper or I don't know cardboard, and then but then you make a more permanent object. So it was as simple as that that wanting that transferal from one medium to another.
Yeah.
But I think I'm so satisfied with ceramics that I don't know if I won't be doing a new technique just yet. But I mean,
Who knows?
but even so, I go to the book centre, London Centre for Book Arts, and they've got the letterpress machines, and I go and have a play around on them every couple of months and just do a bit of mono printing on them, and that's nice. I think actually, it just depends if you've got a bit of free headspace. It is nice to go and do a new, in a soft, light touch that you can just go and have a play.
Yeah.
That feels nice.
I wonder if it, like you're saying about like the way your mind works, and you just like move around things, and like I guess you get focused on one thing and you do that.
Yeah.
But just if your mind's like moving around, you can just go off and learn this other thing rather than thinking I need to master that, and just being like, I gotta keep going, keep going.
True.
Like collecting the tools or figuring out the process. Like I know a little bit of that, and then you're touching these different things.
I think so. But the one thing I do want to do is have the continuity between it. Like, I think I get satisfaction, not necessarily from mastering it, but using it in a way that I think, that looks like I've done it. That sounds like weird, doesn't it? But it's like if you can use it in a way that like feels relevant to you, then that is quite satisfying. Maybe it's that more than, because I don't know if I've mastered. I don't know what I've mastered. I don't think I'm still in the process. Colouring in.
Very good at colouring in.
I like colour. Yeah, that's funny.
Have you always liked colour?
Definitely, yeah, totally. Always have. Just from being a kid and just enjoying, like, very much looking after my set of felt tip pens and not wanting anybody else to use them. Yeah. I think it was always, but with a view to using it. I think colour of that art, I get excited over. But even as being a kid, I remember loving going to the DIY shop and getting, those, like, paint strip colour, like when Dulux would have like hundreds of these like paint colours just on strips. I remember keeping them, and my mum would be like, "Why have you got so many of them?" I just think it was nice to look at colours. Yeah. Even now, I still get a bit excited when I see them. But I've got the Dulux one. Yeah. That big one.
That really chunky.
Yeah, it's good. I can see it right now. So I think it's just, do like it definitely. Always have. Nice. But I'm trying to think of the origins of it. I think it was more to do. I always liked doing artwork, so even at school I was into it. So I guess I view colour with, like, about me using it. It's nice to be surrounded by it or wearing it, and it's more even nicer to use it in your own work, I think.
Yeah. We were talking about, like, your home and, like, how that's been a project, like you and your boyfriend, like, redoing the flat. And, like, how you do like the separation between home and work. But again, listening to one of the other podcasts, you were saying about having things on like your bedside table and kind of either waking up and looking at it, or like the evolution of that. Like, how has that process been, like really building out a space that is like you in some way?
Totally, and it's been really nice with this because this is the first time ever that I've had a space to do that in. Because it's like I've always rented. Essentially, I'm still renting, but it's like there's a bit more of an onus to like.
It is your space.
Yeah. So it's been really nice to have that, 'cause it's like doing stuff that I've always wanted to do, and even just having freedom to paint the rooms, the colours that I want within reason. Alex wouldn't let me paint the whole living room yellow, and I get it. But but if it was up to me, it would be that yellow. Yeah. So I've got one small wall of yellow. It's fair.
You can sit on that side. That's your side.
Yeah. I'll just wait till he goes away, and I'll be getting the roller out. I wouldn't. He'd go mad. I think he'd like it, but it's just I get it. There has to be some parameters. Yeah. But I don't. There's not many things where I'm like, oh, that's a stressful colour. Like, I've had a very bright yellow bedroom before, and I truly loved it. It's quite a small room, but it had a massive window, and the minute light hit it, it was bright yellow, but I thought it was amazing. I loved it. Yeah. But it is amazing to have a house, and also it's quite nice to take your time with it. So I don't feel like you need to do everything at once, even though it's quite tempting to want to, but also financially it's tricky, because everything I want to do costs money. But it's really nice to do it bit by bit. Even I love, one of my favourite things is going to the framers, like taking something to the framers, even though that's quite expensive, but you just do it incrementally. Yeah. But I love getting stuff back from the framer. Love taking it, choosing the framing room in Brockley. Oh yeah. I think it's amazing. Yeah. It's so good. It's the best in London, that. Nice. I think it's really well priced, but really amazing. Best one, I'd say. But yeah, it's been amazing having that, because I guess It's like the thing, because we make objects in here and I really like them, but then they always look better out of the studio. You probably have that with your own work, but once it's in situ, you're like, oh, I like this even more now.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you're working on something and you don't always love it,
Yeah. A lot of the time I don't see things until it only all comes together once it's in someone's house.
Yeah, it's quite...
Unless you have a huge space,
Yeah.
which I don't have as like a workshop. I've got like SketchUp drawing, again, like working in slightly different, but like I'll have like a SketchUp drawing, I'm like, okay, this is what it looks like. And even maybe from that, sometimes you like dial back the ideas because you're like, either I can't draw it in SketchUp or something like that, or you're like, well, this is quite making it simple, but because you can't see it as one whole piece.
Yeah.
So that, I guess, kind of relating it back to like when you're doing like these shops and things, I'm like, oh, I can't even imagine what it looked like as a whole thing. I'm sure like those kind of projects, like I think you were saying about doing something for Paul Smith, possibly, or someone else, where that's like a huge space, I'm imagining.
Yeah, it was big.
Yeah.
Somebody visualised it, but it still looked better when...
You see it in...
Yeah, because I had more on the like analog side of it, so I was painting big panelled boards that went in there, and it was amazing to see them in situ.
Yeah.
So it's always nicer to see it in the space, isn't it? But no, and definitely... I get asked quite a lot if I have my own work up at home, and to be honest, I do. I'm not saying my full house is only my work, but there's certain little things that I definitely have around. I've got,
I think that's great. I don't think it's bad.
I've got Bronto. I only use Bronto, and I've got one or two of my pieces up on the walls. Obviously, I want lots of other people's work, but it'd be weird if I didn't have any.
But then you painted everything, like you were talking about finding the tap.
Yeah.
So you are living within your thing.
Yeah.
It's not you in some way.
Exactly.
I'm sure if someone walked in, they'd be like...
I think they could, I think they could tell. For better or worse, they'd be like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
But I like that. But that's fun. I just find that fun to do and like nice to do. But I mean, obviously I'd be lying if I said I don't fantasize about having a much bigger space or I'd love to have a massive house. That would be amazing. I'd love to do it. Because actually, I guess I've grown to really enjoy choosing finishes. That's something I didn't know much about. Or, like choosing different flooring. It's quite fun, isn't it?
Yeah. Have you done that for like a client in that way, like a space?
Not as much. I get asked more questions now from friends or people being like, "Oh, what floor should I get?" And I quite like that. Or it's quite nice to spend other people's money, isn't it? Like, so tell them something that I would want.
Yeah. Here's the really expensive one. Here's a slightly cheaper one, but I'd probably go for the more.
Or use them as a bit of a guinea pig. Or just be like, because I wanted lino in the house, like as the main floor, but it was just going to be too expensive, because you have to have the floor level.
Yeah.
The lino itself was super cheap, but the installation was like wildly expensive. I think it's like marmoleum. But anyway, I was speaking to somebody else about that, and then they went ahead and did it, and I was like, cool, okay, good, looks good.
I've got that, but as like tiles.
Yes,
there's like a tiled bit, like the 4x1. It's like the tile version.
Yeah,
and you can't really see the joint. I mean, it's very easy to do, and you can't see the joints.
Amazing.
Yeah, so in that way, it's like. But I've seen other places I worked, and they had it as
the
same colour, but like the full. And I was like, where are the? If it's installed very well, like where are the joints?
I think that's where the cost comes, isn't it?
Yeah.
But they were on about, is it where you have to screed the floor? Well, is that where you level it?
Yeah.
So that I was just like, another time.
Yeah.
But it's really nice. And there's a shop in town, I can't remember which one, but they've got a poured resin floor in a mint green colour, and you think this is amazing.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it's funny with materials, you're probably the same way, you just, even if you like something, you don't always have to use it, or you like, I love it, but I wouldn't have it in my house, but I really love knowing about how it's done, or seeing, because then I went off and watched videos of people doing poured resin floors, and I was like, oh my God, this is nice. Really, and it's amazing that you can get any colour, but it's expensive.
Yeah.
But even the floor, have you been into the Marksman? Because Martino Gamper did the restaurant bit, and that's got like panelled lino floor, but it just looks amazing.
Yeah.
The decor's really nice.
Nice.
I like seeing it. But there was a massive trend in that, wasn't there? If you think the past 10 years, where people are now quite obsessed with their own living areas or showing what's directly your work, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I wonder if even that was like galvanised even more by the pandemic, where people were starting to spend a lot more money.
Yeah, you're just at home thinking, what can we do to this space? Yeah.
So actually 2020, we sold a hell of a lot of handmade ceramics and stuff. They were flying out just because they weren't spending money on travel. So actually that was quite a good year for ceramics for us, in a way that slowed down.
Yeah.
So,
What project are you most proud of out of all the things you've ever done?
It's always, I always say Fendi. It's like, I think Fendi was amazing.
Okay. What did you do for them?
I was working on the menswear for 3 seasons. So I designed fabrics and textiles for the menswear, and I was doing drawings and prints and motifs for them. So they would have prints all over the clothes, but sometimes we would take an element of the print and make it into a little key ring or a charm, or put it on a little wallet, or went across lots of different apparel. I really loved it.
Yeah.
It's nice to work for a company that was so, there was very few limitations, put it that way. It felt quite no holds barred.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
And you were coming in just as a designer for that,
Yeah.
not like in-house? Yeah. Oh, well.
Yeah, so it was amazing to get to fly to Rome quite a lot.
Yeah.
Went to Rome and Milan, take my drawing kit to Rome. So it's quite romantic when you think about it, taking my drawing kit, and I was drawing in situ, but I think they really liked that direct translation from drawing to final product. So if I was designing a bag, they'd give me a pattern, they'd give me to scale the pattern piece of the bag, and was like designing on that, and then they would send that to the factory. So I really liked that, how analog that was.
Yeah.
So it wasn't going through a computer, I was working by hand.
Yeah.
Because they really pride themselves on doing stuff by hand there. So it was really a nice transition from hand drawn artwork to hand finished apparel or clothing. It was really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. I was just going to say, so the majority of your stuff is like hand done. It isn't.
Yeah, totally.
You don't really design anything on a computer at all.
No, I don't know how.
Yeah.
Which is maybe good and bad. I
Yeah,
definitely missed out on opportunities because of that, but I don't know if I want to do it anyway. But sometimes it's a bit clunky if I can't, because obviously now more and more people want to modify it digitally, and I get it, I'll put it into repeat and stuff. I wish I knew some of the basics, because then if I did, it would smooth out my process a bit, because sometimes people send me a file back and I'm like, oh, like the repeat is horrible, or like, or I'm like, it's not what I want, but I can't kick up too much fuss because I don't know how to do it. So maybe, I don't know, but I would avoid it as much as I can, because even when I used to really love, another thing I loved, I worked for a Scottish cashmere mill called Alex Begg, or Begg & Co. And I did sort of printed scarves for them with cashmere, but I did them to 50% scale, and I just did them I did big collages and sent them the collages, and they scanned them and then printed them. So I quite like it when you can meet halfway in the middle, where it's like, right, how can we still keep this analog or true to how I work, and still try and help them with the process. I don't want to make it hard for companies to do, but sometimes you're like, it's hard, because I don't know, I should learn the digital thing, but I've been saying that for 20 years.
But also your process is like very involved in the hand.
Yeah.
And you're coming into it with like the 15, 20 years experience.
Yeah.
Rather than, again, someone that maybe comes out of uni or starts doing this. Now they're like, right, you need to do it digitally. You're like, okay.
Yeah,
like in that way, you're like,
in the outcome.
Yeah.
Even these, I keep looking at these because they're just in my island. I sent them the drawings and the scans, and then the guy, not to grass them up, I won't mention the company, but he had them modified on AI. So when he sent me back the files, I was like, can I ask you, have you put these through AI? He was like, yeah. And I was like, don't do that ever.
In what way were they?
Because he'd wanted to carry on some of it, extend it.
Yeah.
But it had extended, and the pattern was so bizarre that I was like, that's not being photoshopped, that's AI. And he did. And I wasn't trying to catch him out, but I could spot straight away that it had been modified in such a horrible way that I was like, instantly was like a kick in the teeth. I was like, that is awful.
Might as well have just dragged it and stretched it.
Oh, I wish you'd done something. Yeah, because just the modifications were so weird.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, don't do that. Crop it inwards rather than extending it. Like, don't. I don't know, because it's just not. Because the whole point is this. You can see that was like collages that were done on like gouache paper, and then just cut out and collaged. It's meant to be quite scrappy looking.
Yeah.
But it's definitely scrappy looking. But it's. Yeah, I want to do stuff by hand. That's why I still work like this. So that's why I guess I've always held off. Like, I know there's a Mac over there, but it's from 2012, and it's basically like
it's a paperweight.
Yeah, it's basically it gives off heat. That's my heater. So that, but it's. I mean, I do scan. I've got a scanner. A3 scanner was incredibly useful. So I use a scan artworks. But yeah, in terms of generating artwork, it's always going to be by hand.
Yeah.
And then I guess the trickiest thing is if it's a client that's abroad. So I just did a fashion collection last year with a Korean company, sending them scans and then seeing what they come up with out of it was clunky, because I was like, this isn't. But they definitely didn't. treat the artworks well. They just did what they wanted with them.
Yeah.
Because they were abroad, it just felt very tricky. I was like, this is not...
Again, it's like trying to meet in the middle of like, they're producing something like you do here. Like one of you comes with a really technical skill, one comes with more of a creative outlook. But if you look and if you meet in the middle, it's good. But if it's not aligned, then then the process really does feel even clunkier than if you could provide it in like a whatever vector format or whatever it is. Yeah.
I didn't enjoy that. It just felt really not... That's why, but then equally, I definitely work with lots of clients. I guess if you're honest with them at the start and tell them what sort of file they can expect and what format, then it's fine. But it's funny, sometimes I actually found the higher end companies wanted more of a hand touch, whereas there may be ones that were more mass producing stuff, or they wanted it quicker, because I guess it's efficient, isn't it? Dealing with
also there's slightly less risk with a bigger company than a smaller company that's like, this is a percentage of our revenue for the year, we really got to get this right.
Totally true, totally true. But I wonder if I've thought about this and about luxury industries and even like higher end companies still hopefully wanting hand, because I still think hand done things feel more luxurious. Same as you deal in bespoke furniture, like it's just I don't even know if luxury is the word, it's just a nicer product, isn't it? Hand done stuff, it's like bespoke things, like hand done drawings or handmade furniture, all of this stuff. It's nicer. But like I said, I'm not against anything being manufactured or like mass produced, but it can still be done well. Because obviously I'm biased, but like when you feel the Bronto stuff, it's such an amazing weight, it's so heavy that I'm like, that feels good quality. It's quite expensive, but then I think it's worth the quality, it's worth it. The plates, Ian thinks the plates are too heavy, but I think I love how heavy it is.
Oh yeah, well. Super simple.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah, I love them. But yeah, I think, so you can, hopefully moving forward, people still look out for quality stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's not hopefully about getting everything is cheap all the time. It's just, obviously we want cheap stuff, but like...
There's like space for a range, I guess, in that way.
Yeah.
And what, maybe just to wrap up, like what things are you working on for the rest of the year?
So we've just launched a new collection with Conran, which is exciting. And then I'm doing a collaboration with Royal Copenhagen, which I'm really excited about. So that's on ceramic pieces as well. And lots of ceramic stuff. And then just about to install a tiled splashback. So it's actually, this is the drawing I did ages ago. It's this. Obviously each tile's different. Hooker hood here, so it's 3 tiles high, and then his sink's here. Plugs there. So it's about, I can't remember the measurements, but it's 40 something tiles. So that's about to go on.
And they're all individually different, all handmade here.
Some are shaped. I've done it all myself. Some have got little shapes on the top, some are plain shapes. But each one is patterned, but I just didn't even draw all the patterns because I couldn't even think. But I've kind of done like most of the things I've drawn here. So I'm excited about that. But I guess recently it has been a lot more ceramic stuff. But just because within that, I've been able to do so many things, like because this feels very hand done. And the Conran stuff feels a bit more like it's playful, but quite pared back compared to just my work. And then the Royal Copenhagen stuff is different again, so I'm excited for that to come out.
Nice.
So it's ceramic stuff, but I still feel like I've got that craving to do non-ceramic things. But that's the thing that.
Is that because do you like show a lot of ceramic stuff? Like, I guess not that everything comes through Instagram, but you have like quite a big platform on Instagram. And do you feel like with that you need to show like a wide range of stuff rather than show, like, for me, I post something, someone inquires about that thing. And you're like, maybe I don't want to do too many wardrobes. But then you're like, well, I've done a few, so I might as well show them. And then people are like, can you get a wardrobe? Can I get a wardrobe? Can I get a wardrobe?
They want repeats. But the same happens even with design stuff, where it's like design projects, like I'll do something here, and then you'll have a client from the Far East that's like, we want that. And it's like, it's like, I don't know if I can give you exactly that. But it's like, people do, they respond to what they see, don't they? And that's good. That's where I guess the pressure comes into, hopefully, if you show a new thing, that's why I've never done tiles before, but hopefully if I show a new thing, then hopefully there'll be work off the back of it.
I mean, this is like, this is going to look amazing, like the end photo of this.
Yeah, precisely. I can't wait. It's such a beautiful flat surface and just natural wood. His taste is quite, he's got quite wild taste, but the settings are quite, it's quite neutral. So it'll be really, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a lot of ceramic stuff. It just, but I'm never gonna say no to ceramic stuff because I like it. But I'm always in the back of my head fantasizing about this like non-existent fashion project I've got. But maybe it's just best left there. I don't know. Maybe that's it.
What would you like to do, like a whole collection?
Yeah, I want somebody to just give me full free reign again.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wonder.
Nice.
I do. It's because I still like looking at. I love clothes. I love looking at them. And I like, because it's Paris Men's Show at the minute. The show's on. I love seeing it, and I've just always got that little pang of like desire to work on that again. But I'm very fulfilled in what I do. So yeah. But it's, in fact, one of the things I'm doing for Oil Copenhagen, I probably can't give too much details, but it is it's a wearable thing. So actually that could be, it's something that I pitched to another company ages ago and they didn't do it, but this is, could be something.
Nice.
So actually, I think things that, I guess it's just thinking about, it's quite nice if thinking of apparel or things that people could use in different ways, so it's not just tableware or tiles. It's quite nice the idea of something that could be used differently, but I do still like stuff for the body, like apparel for,
Yeah. Do you like things to be useful?
I guess it is. I think we said that before. Yeah, I do. I think I do.
Yeah.
But then my work is so decorative, though, isn't it? But I do still get excited about stuff that's useful, because I just think then you get to enjoy it in a few different ways.
Yeah.
Don't you? So even like the wrapping paper we've got in front of us, I like the idea of people of that existing and just
it
wrap
can just
it.
be a print, like
Quite. I mean,
frame
you
it
could.
if you wanted,
I mean, that'd be cool. But it is. But I love that. Yeah, I
cheap and
do-
cheerful print.
Exactly. But I love that it is usable. I love that it's just going to get torn.
Yeah.
But it's, I do still think, I think that's just my background. That's kind of what I think it is. It's the function, isn't it?
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed that conversation between myself and John. If you want to see more of John's work, you can look at the photos from the series that I took over on the website acollectionof.info and also on Instagram at acollectionof.info. But if you want to look at more of John's work on Instagram, it's John_Booth. And also the supergroup is Supergroup Projects. And also you can obviously check out his website at john-booth.com. Thank you for taking the time to listen to A Collection of Spaces. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I look forward to chatting to you soon. Over and out.